Hey guys, what's up? Chief Pat here, and today bringing you guys a brand new Clash Royale video. And today we're going to be pushing up the ranks on my main account using a new deck that I've seen a lot of the top players use, and it's using the Giant, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Musketeer, as well as the Ice Wizard. So those are the four main troop cards that you're using inside of the deck. You also do have the Zap and the Poison, the two strongest spell cards inside of the entire game right now, as well as the Cannon and the Elixir Pump. And let's go ahead and start it off against, it looks like someone from Spain, and he's going to be using the Royal GG push. Alright, so he's got the Royal Giant and the Furnace down. I've been playing with this one Furnace deck that's actually pretty fun, if you guys didn't see, which I'm sure you have, in the most recent balance changes. And throughout, since the Furnace has come out, they've done a lot of changes to it. I think it was probably one of the weakest cards in the game initially, but they've obviously squared it up a bit inside of the last couple of balancing changes. And he's going to play it smack dab in the very center. My Giant's going to take a couple of punches at it and eventually go down as I play my next Elixir Pump. So waiting on the Zap, I'm going to play the Zap to kill both the Fire Spirits as well as the minions. That's why I waited it out right there. And at this point, I'm starting to get a pretty big Elixir lead, which obviously bodes really well for this deck. Now with this deck, you can play a couple of things from the very back. Now normally you want to have the Giant, because obviously with the Giant being so slow and 5 Elixir, you can start doing a pretty crazy push by the end of it. But since I had my Ice Wizard, the Ice Wizard's relatively slow, I'm going to start with him from the back. And by this point, I've already got the Giant down, I've got the Ice Wizard, the Musketeer, as well as a Poison on top of the Furnace as well as the Ice Wizard. So my Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to run in right now. Looks like the minions are going to die inside of that Poison, and with the full health Mini P.E.K.K.A as well as the Giant at half HP, the Fire Spirits aren't going to be able to do too much, and that's going to be the very first tower of the game. So we sort of just bided our time right there and waited to get that Elixir lead using the pumps, which is sort of typical in most of the decks that I've been playing recently. Even the Hog Trifecta deck, which is the Hog, Valkyrie, Musketeer, just waiting on getting that Elixir lead before making that push. And he's going to do a little bit of a counter push with the Mini P.E.K.K.A as well as the Ice Wizard, so I'm going to stop that in its tracks. Looks like the Mini P.E.K.K.A is not going to be able to get that hit off onto the Ice Wizard, and at this point the tower is down so low, we can just go for the 3-crown push and hopefully be able to finish off this game. So Poison Spell onto both the towers as well as the Furnace. Looks like the Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to make a run for glory, take one swipe at that tower, and the second one's going to wrap up the game for a 3-crown to 0 victory. So pretty convincing stuff right there. Really weren't in too much trouble after those first couple of pushes. The game's sort of on easy mode once you get the Elixir lead. And we were able to capitalize on that one after that first Royal Giant push, and that one pretty much sealed up the game. Alright, so game number 2, let's get into a battle with SRR. Looks like he's going to start with the Princess. I've got an Elixir Pump in the back. Now with this deck dealing with the Princess, I either want to take it out on a push or just drop something like a Musketeer or an Ice Wizard to try to get a pretty close trade against the Princess. So I'm going to play the Musketeer. It's going to take 2 shots, I think, to take her out. And meanwhile, on the right-hand lane, I've got the Mini P.E.K.K.A as well as the Ice Wizard. So the Zap's going to go down, hoping to get a hit off on the tower with the Mini P.E.K.K.A, which it looks like we're going to be able to do. The only cannon I have right here is going to take out his Mini P.E.K.K.A. And yeah, we took a tower down a little bit on the right-hand side. Of course, he did take out our Elixir Pump with a Miner, but that let us do a Mini P.E.K.K.A and Ice Wizard push. So again, we're sort of just hanging out right now and waiting for that Princess to get a little bit closer. I'm going to drop the Mini P.E.K.K.A, and that's going to be pretty close to an even trade. Obviously, the Princess is 3 and the Mini P.E.K.K.A is 4, but we're actually going to take a Miner out as well as take out the tower with a shot right there. So definitely a positive trade, and we have got this game spun around our finger so far. Now he's going to start playing the 3 Musketeers, and he's doing what I like to do by playing the 3 Musketeers split, so that way you don't like put all your eggs in one basket by putting them on one side of the map. So we're going to burn those Musketeers down, and since they're only level 9, they're going to die on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, on the right, our Ice Wizard will be able to take that Musketeer out, and at this point we've got a little bit of a dual-pronged approach. We've got an Ice Wizard on the right, we've got the Giant as well as the Musketeer on the left, and he's gonna have to somehow be able to counter this, and I've got the Zap ready in my hand. Now he plays the Royal GG. Interesting play. He was trying to distract my Musketeer and then drop that Mini P.E.K.K.A after, which obviously worked, but meanwhile my Giant made its way all the way to the tower, and with a couple of smacks, that tower's gonna finally go down and be the first tower down of the game. Now with his counter push, he's going to go for the Mini P.E.K.K.A as well as the Miner. My Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to be able to actually take a swipe at his, but it does get a single shot off against my tower, so not too bad with him playing that Zap right there and resetting the tower aggro to make my tower actually shoot the Miner instead of the Mini P.E.K.K.A. But since he committed to the 3 Musketeers, let's drop the Mini P.E.K.K.A. as well as the Musketeer and Ice Wizard on the right. We've got the Poison Spell on the right as well. He's got the Princess, and I'm just going to play an Ice Wizard as well as a Zap to stop this push on the left, and leave my Ice Wizard with just a little bit of HP to help out towards the very end. And at this point, this one is all but over. Mini P.E.K.K.A.'s on the tower. We got the Ice Wizard and 2 Musketeers going ham as well. This is going to be a good game against SRR, and it'll be another 3 crown to 0 victory as we make our way up the ladder. So at this point, you can sort of feel what the play style of this deck is. You're trying to make some positive trades on defense, as you would want to with any type of deck, but then turn that into an elixir collector, which eventually you'll turn into a giant Mini P.E.K.K.A, Ice Wizard, and Musketeer push. That's somewhere around 16 elixir, which is if you play a giant in the very back, obviously you'll have plenty of time to regain elixir and be able to make that 16 elixir push happen by the time you make it to the bridge. So that's what I'm going to keep doing, and let's go ahead and get into another battle against Silaka, where he's got a level 5 Princess, so looks like he's going to be able to match up with my level 5 Ice Wizard. And let's go ahead and start on the right-hand lane. Looks like his Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to start swiping down that giant, but he's got the 3 Musketeers, which are fully maxed out, while my Musketeer stutters. I don't know if you guys saw that, so I'm going to zap his Musketeers, and looks like things are going to be okay. We might take a little bit of damage right here, but of course I can play my Mini P.E.K.K.A in the very back if we need to. So let's go ahead and do that right now, as well as to distract those Fire Spirits. And overall, we're not going to take too much damage on our tower. I think everything looks okay for now. So let's try to get an Elixir Collector down after he plays this Furnace. Alright, so a level 11 Furnace, obviously going to be a little bit tough to deal with. The Fire Spirits are going to take 2 hits for the tower to take them out, which means the second one will hit the tower every single time. So instead of taking that damage, which is around 200 damage at a time, I'm actually going to play my Poison Spell right as he drops his Princess and his Guards. Guys, that is the most value I've seen for a Poison in a while. And yeah, we're going to get a ton of value out of that Poison. You had 3 Elixir for the Princess, 3 Elixir for the Guards, as well as 4 Elixir for the Furnace, all for a 4 Elixir Poison Spell. And now that that happens, seeing as we have our Elixir pump down, we've got our Ice Wizard in the right-hand lane that he might have to play something against, but I'm guessing he's probably just going to leave there because it's only going to do like 400 damage. Let's go ahead and get ready for that big push I was talking about by playing a giant in the very back. And we have to decide, do we want to play our cards, or do we want to play our pump, or do we want to play our troops, or do we want to play our pump? And I'm going to decide to start playing some of the troops. So he plays 3 Musketeers, and this time I'm much better equipped to take it out. The previous time he just tore through my giant, and there really wasn't too much I could do about it. Instead, this time I'm going to actually end up going for our big push. You can see the Ice Wizard and the Musketeer. They're 2 of those troops that sort of get weird whenever there's they're shooting from range. And you're going to see I'm going to poison both the King Tower as well as this other tower. The reason I poisoned the King Tower is because I thought I would take out his tower with this push, and I would start on the King Tower sooner than later. But it turns out I'm actually not going to be able to take out that right-hand tower. So a little bit of a mistake of a poison spell, because now I have to deal with the King if I want to take the first tower of the game. But still, I'm feeling pretty confident. We've got a nice little push brewing right now. His push is going to be completely negated right here, as I have my giant Mini P.E.K.K.A, or my giant Musketeer, as well as my Ice Wizard doing work. His Miner's not going to do too much as I poison down the Furnace as well as the tower. And with another Furnace appearing right in front of my face, I've got the double giant, the 2, yeah, they're going crazy right now. And that's going to be the end of the game, as well as we take out that first tower, and that's going to wrap it up. Alright, so match over against Silaka. That's going to be a pretty crispy 1 crown to 0 victory for 41 trophies. Very nicely done right there. And let's go ahead and get into one more battle to wrap it up using this new deck, and to see what we can do against our friend from China. Alright, so taking a look at our starting cards, we could play anything but the Mini P.E.K.K.A right now, and I'm actually going to start off with the Ice Wizard. Sometimes I start with the Giant, but the Giant does leave you a little bit vulnerable in case they go for a push down another lane, or obviously the Giant only targeting buildings is going to be pretty tough to deal with sometimes, at least if you're trying to defend. But he actually has a giant, or a rocket, which I haven't seen in forever. I respect the rocket play. It can obviously be really annoying to deal with, but I haven't found it to be oppressive as it was a couple of months ago inside of some of those bomb tower rocket decks, which probably were some of the least fun I've ever had inside of Clash Royale. But still, now we've got a Giant on the right-hand lane. He's got a Royal GG on the left. Let's get ready for a big push down this right-hand lane, and I'm going to save my cannon and my Mini P.E.K.K.A to take out his Royal Giant. Alright, so Poison Spell is down, and I know my mini P.E.K.K.A is pretty safe because he is going to have to respond to this push on the right-hand lane. I'm going to zap all of that stuff as once. His mini P.E.K.K.A actually doesn't end up getting a hit off against my Giant, which is pretty bad. And now I've got the Giant, I've got the Musketeer, I've got the mini P.E.K.K.A on the left, and this game is pretty much over. I don't know what he can really do. We've got the Giant, the Ice Wizard, and the Musketeer locked onto the King Tower. He knows the game is over, and all it took was a single push down the right-hand lane for both of my Musketeers to finish off this game and give us a 3-0 victory. So good stuff right there. We were able to counter him on the left, push on the right, and end it in a single haymaker. And yeah, that is pretty much this deck. And that's how you use it to its fullest. So I'm going to keep pushing with this deck. If you guys have any deck ideas, let me know in the comment section below. Super sorry about the lack of videos. I'm actually in Bali, Indonesia right now. And if any of you guys are from Indonesia, which I know a lot of you are because I check my YouTube demographics, I seriously have no idea how you play Clash Royale on this internet. I went to 15 different coffee cafes for internet, and I disconnected on almost every single one. So my second account, I lost about 400 trophies and dropped all the way down to Builder's Workshop from like 2350 to 1950. So I finally found a place with good Wi-Fi, and I'm able to do videos now, but it was really a struggle. So shout out to you Indonesian Clashers dealing with the Wi-Fi around here. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace.